So, on the last video, I had started with phylum, and I had said that a phylum represents animals having a backbone. The phylum is the younger of the two. The phylum Chordate is the younger of the two phylums, okay? Invertebrate animals are older than vertebrate animals. We've actually evolved around the same time as insects and different other types of arthropods, okay? So now we're going to talk about class. And speaking of arthropods, Arthropodia is a type of class, such as Mammalia, which means mammals, which includes us, whales, platypuses, which is known as monotremes, and then you have insects. Okay, a fact is that the insect family, does not include spiders. Spiders are not technically insects; they're arthropods or arachnids, and they're a part of that family that crabs and different other types of seafood are in. Okay. So then you have order. And order is just the relation of things to each other. Okay. So in some family trees, which family means the descendant of all common ancestors, you have the order in which the animals existed within a time frame from each other. So our order would be the Neanderthals existed, and then at a certain time, the Homo sapiens existed. Okay, but we're all a part of a family which has a common ancestor that we are descended from. Then you have genus, and then you have species. Okay, genus is a principal taxonomy category that is usually within the specimen scientific name. So you can see what their name would be. Okay. And then you have species. Species are just the members of that family that can interbreed with each other and that can have children and offspring. So we already know from Aristotle, he made up a system of animals and plants based on everyday observations. Okay. He classified animals as organisms that had the presence of red blood. Plants do not bleed, so plants were not a part of the animal category. So, our next essential question is, what contribution did Carolus Linnaeus make to science? And the answer for that is that Carolus Linnaeus, he came up with the system of taxonomy. Okay? So, taxonomy is just a system based off of the Latin scientific names of organisms. So he created that. And then later in 1969, Robert H. Whitaker came up with the five system domain that we have. So Monera, Protista, Plantae, Fungi, and Mammalia. And then for Carolus Linnaeus, we have something called binomial nomenclature. Okay. So binomial nomenclature is just a scientific way of putting an organism's name together. And for example, you have the grizzly bear. The class is Mammalia. The order is Carnivora, which means he's a carnivore. Family Ursidae. Ursidae are big, powerful plant eaters. So that includes all of the bears and some extinct members of that family. Okay. Ursa is Latin for bear, and the species Ursus actros. Actros is the Greek word that they have for bear. So then you have rules for writing scientific names. I have a few of these things highlighted because this is what I would deem important is that the genus is always first. Okay. Now I have that example right there, but I'm going to give you an example of Panthera leo. Okay. Panthera, which means big roaring cat, is the genus name. And that name is always written first and is underlined, such as you see right here. So if I was to remove this and put Panthera, that word will be underlined. Then the specific epithet, Leo, which means that the specific member of the Panthera family that I'm talking about is the lion. Okay. So then, just like we have common names, okay, so we also have scientific names. Scientific names makes the language of knowing that organism more universally understood for those who